Alrighty. So I don't know if anyone's actually going to catch or watch this stream, but I am going to try to fix my iPhone. So let's see. First thing, so I have an iPhone 6 Plus, and the battery is failing me. So I'm going to do my best to try to replace the battery and see what I come up with. So I have what was supposed to be an OEM replacement battery for the 6 Plus. Connector, little connector there. The side part. Have a cheap kit for replacing. What's recommended on the site I've been looking at and everything is the iFixit. Come with much better tools. We'll see. This one comes with suction cup on the screen. Has both the Phillips, small Phillips, and the star patterned screwdrivers. Has two plastic devices for getting under and peeling up the various pieces. Big one should be for excuse me, main connection, pulling and prying underneath the screen once I release the screws for getting the cable pieces off of it. Now I have some risk in doing this and some challenge. One, the kit did not, as I thought it should have, come with, anywhere I can find at least, adhesive strips to replace the ones inside. It's kind of an odd way it came to me too, and just a little envelope, a little quick envelope with some stuff inside it, paper that had everything attached in it. And so maybe it was a different purchase I was looking at that came with that. I don't know. Note to the wise that you can do this through an Apple store, somewhere like that. It costs essentially $80 to get a replacement. For them to do it for you, probably worthwhile. If I hadn't already purchased the replacement kit, I probably would have just taken it to them. But this is an opportunity for me to try, and I'd love to get my hands dirty. Hopefully doing this will not sacrifice my iPhone. So I would hate to have to buy a brand new phone right now. Alright, so I also have the iFixit site up to kind of follow along, see if I can get this right. And we will go down the steps. So the main reason this is happening is that I start out with the star screw and have to hit these two screws next to the charging port. And you want to make sure you keep track of everything that comes off. Don't lose anything. These are all small parts. I am working on an ironing board, if you can't tell, so I can stand up next to it and have good light. iFixit sells and suggests a magnetic mat, which makes a ton of sense as a way to keep track of everything. I'm going to try my best not to bounce anything around that might lose pieces. So next, near the home button, get a good suction on it, which should allow me to pry up this corner. There you can see it, it's prying up slightly. Oh, pulled off. Once it's pried up, I will try to fit the plastic tool underneath to give me some purchase to basically start popping it up and releasing the edges. Now, as I was saying, part of the reason I'm doing this, you want to be careful not to get too deep because you don't want to actually hit on anything on the inside, but that should help. Now I should be able to, there, popped everything, and honestly I should be able to pop off suction cup now that this is completely released. It's connected at the top with various data connections for the front port, where on the back it comes up and, like I said, carefully picking it up. Now what I'm going to do is, before this, one of the things suggested was to find something to kind of prop this up against to not stress the joints or the pieces on that. And I don't have the original box like they suggest using. I have another box sitting here, and I may try to run upstairs and grab was trying to think if I have a rubber band or not, because you can lean it up against and then just rubber band it around so that it'll stay vertical, which they show as a way to make this easier to do. I don't think I have, or know if I have a rubber band nearly quite. I may have that, although they may not be big enough. So we'll see if this. So pick it up. You can see inside there. I'll move this closer to the camera so you can see the inside and the battery that's in there. Now the challenge is, I was actually expecting the battery to look a lot worse than it does, because whenever I was charging it, not only was it not maintaining a charge, it was getting very warm, to me being scared that this thing was going to explode on me, essentially, while charging it. I mean, it was hot. And so I was a little worried that the lithium-ion battery might actually be bubbling. And it still looks like there's some wear or something on it. So, never taken this apart before. First time the phone's been opened since I bought it brand new when it first came out. So, next, I'm going to disconnect the actual battery, which is connected right here underneath this plate. So, removing. Actually, it's kind of nice. These screws are not tight. They come out actually pretty easy. Yay, these steel screwdrivers are magnetic. Oops, make sure I'm on the right one. Makes it much easier. Try to keep them solid here. And it suggests, and we'll see, I do not have the thin tweezers that they recommend on the site, so I'm using a toothpick to try to release that panel. So keep that with the two screws. The longer one on the right here, because it's the deeper screw. Now this connection here is the actual battery connection. The goal is to pry it up without getting the board below it. And so it's just trying to get just the actual battery connection off. This is going to be true of each of the pieces here. There we go, popped it. And there you can see it's disconnected and the part on the board is still maintained. So that is essentially to release it. No power going through, should be safer to work on. Now I'm going to advance through the iFixit part. Catch up to step, essentially that was step 9, 10, and 11. Step 12 is going to be removing the data ports up top here. Now they do this, none of this is actually in the way. The battery's all right here and the adhesive's all here. This is so that you can remove the top screen, so essentially you get a better access to handle this, to pull the battery off of the adhesive, is the whole reason for disconnecting this. It is not because the battery is at all in the way here. It is strictly so that it's easier to work with. And the other advice here is to keep all of these in order of how you take them out. So you can see I'm laying them out the same way as I take them out. This should make it easier to reassemble. Combination of making sure you have the right screws at the right length and the right holes. So you can see that one's longer than the other three. And if you've already put a screw into a hole and the threads are equal and stuff like that, it's just better all the way around. So those, all those. This plate comes off easily. There. And now I'm going to, again, I'm going to try to move away a little bit so as not to mess up all my screws, since I don't have a magnetic pad for this. And the same kind of concept, I need to pop each of these data connections without That's interesting, these pads aren't quite straight on there. Without hurting the actual connector below it, you'll see these are layered. There's 4 of them in here that are layered under each other. There. And then the last one, flat one down here. So, bam. You notice, toothpick worked very well. There's the data connections, and you can see where they were connected right here on the board. So now it would be nice if you could just pop this off, but in order to avoid any vibration and stuff like that that would hurt the battery, there's adhesive down here at the bottom. You can find all this information in a guide better than I can do. I'm following along. You can too. So I disconnect all those, and it now puts me on step 19, the battery. And so, again, hopefully not affecting my little pile there. And one of the things when I got this, when I was trying to decide battery, which I kind of knew was the issue, I went to Apple finally, Apple Store in the mall, and asked for them to assess, like, hey, could you help me? They had me, and I didn't realize you could do this, go online, or basically just turn on the options in the menu, settings menu for diagnostics, call Apple support, and let them run essentially a battery check on my phone themselves, which helped confirm basically what I already knew, which is that the battery had shut itself. Alright, so all the adhesive is up. Now, a mistake people make is they think that you need to like try to pry this up, but this is kind of like those wall hanging ones. If you've ever seen the wall ones where you pull and it should see how it comes straight out like that? As you pull it, oh no, it broke. This is going to be bad. So they recommend for the side ones that you pull and kind of work it around. Now remember, this is an original at launch iPhone 6 Plus. And so well, it's supposed to pull just straight out. And you should be able to actually work around the battery here. So here, if I can get under this, come on, get around that corner. Unfortunately, it's because the other one broke. I may have to do a manual version of the release tool that they suggest. See? Oh, terrible. This one, on the other hand, is supposed to just come straight out. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what I was hoping the other ones would do, which did not. And so this is going to be a bit more difficult. Because now I'm supposed to get the battery off, but oh, where did you come from? Oh, that went around the screw hole things. This is not how it's supposed to work. I may have to heat up a platter or something to make the adhesive come off easier. And nice thing is I do actually have a thing that I can do that with. That's not good. See, battery bend, not good. So, all right. So I will probably see. Oh, hassles of doing this myself and exactly what's not supposed to happen. The middle one came out fine. I pulled that just how I was supposed to. I'm going to have to get a heat thing, heat this up, and then see if I can get it warm enough to pull off that adhesive. So I'm going to stop the stream for now. I will come back and see what I can do. Alrighty, where I left off, now we'll try to be careful here, is that the adhesive got stuck under here. The middle one came out, the side ones did not. They recommend, you don't want to bend the aluminum case or anything, heating up the back side to release the heat for it. So, and granted, I probably should grab gloves for this, just to make it easier on me, not overheat myself. But I got, since I didn't want to use a hairdryer and my heat pack that failed on me, I have a heat gun. And so, battery's on this side. So I'm going to try to heat it up without breaking anything. Two-step process. Heat it up. And then, using the plastic, and see how hot the metal is. That's where I said I should have a glove. See if I can't. Oh, nope. Wow. So this thing is, it's really on there. It might not be enough heat, but plastic piece did not work. It's just a credit card type plastic to slide under it. So don't know if I have anything quite that nice. This is metal. So what I may do here is continue to try to heat it up while applying pressure. Like this. Not recommended. Just saying. Although that did allow it to pull off some. Oh yeah. Very much gooped. Whew, that's warm. Come on. Heck, if I can just get this off enough to pull the adhesive again, I'd be happy. There's still adhesive in the middle. Well, so now granted some of that was from me, but part of the question was whether the battery was actually bubbling or not. You can see it should essentially just pull right off, but was not. Alright, so hopefully, since this is not an inexpensive phone, I didn't damage anything in the process. Let it cool down here. Hopefully all the other connections, even though it got warm, are alright. I'm sure people will be cringing about me doing it this way. I would if I were watching it. Gosh, if it just would have pulled off that easy, that'd have been great. Right? Would have been great. Really, I just need this to survive me till iPhone 8 comes out. Alright, so back panel, clear. Thankfully, it doesn't look like I twisted it too bad. Still a little bit gunk there, but that should be fine. And nice thing is it's essentially aluminum, so it's cooling off really fast. Alright, so now this gets into the reassembly point. And again, hopefully I don't break anything. So, new battery. There, nice, smooth, cool. It should fit right in. And the thing they suggest when you stick it in is to get this power cable first. And show that it's in the right place. May even be an opportunity to come from an angle here to make sure there that it's in nice and solid. That's going to dictate where the battery lies right there. Now the other thing I'm going to do, this is not recommended, since I did not come with adhesive strips, I do have some adhesive strips. These are meant for wall ones, they're the kind that also pull. This may be a very bad idea. I don't know. But as long as the end is still available to pull, like the originals, my concern is that these are a little thicker than the recommended. So I'm not sure how bad an idea this is. Make sure everything's nice and snug in here. There you see my little tabs are out, so I can pull to release it. Like I said, probably a very bad idea, but it's in there and it's not moving, so we shall see. Now the next part is essentially the whole reassembly piece here. And so, like that part actually, we can put that back on now for the battery. Oh gosh. So small. Actually, I guess. Come on. Oh, come on. You were magnetic a minute ago. This will be tough. Yeah. Maybe it's because these could use slightly smaller screwdriver? I don't know. Oh boy. My fingers are too thick to be trying to do this. Am I using the wrong one? You know what? I'm using the wrong one. That'd explain a lot. It's like, why won't the tip fit in there? Oh, because it's not a Phillips, it's the star one. Whatever that's officially called. See a little bit of magnet. That becomes not an issue. Oh, look at that. Okay. Whew! Alright, so now, reattaching all of these in order. So, nice thing is they should all just press right in. But, lining them up there. Still using the box to essentially keep everything in order there. Oh. I suppose I can try. I don't know if this will make it easier or harder. Okay. First one's on. There we go. Second one. Alright. They all. This is where I've seen a few comments about these pulling out. So they feel like I got them all snug in there. Okay. So now let's see. Oh, my fingers are not delicate enough for this. Is that in? Sure feels like it, seems like it. Oh. These screws are so tiny. Getting the tip in the hole can be difficult. Well, don't you lose it. So, because this really needs to go straight down. That's how small these are. Okay. Now this is easier to flatten on the magnetic tip. There it is, so that you can essentially push it straight to the hole. Alright, last one. So the next step, this is surprisingly feels jury-rigged almost. But the next step is once you have it all connected, which I essentially did here, is to not put it back together yet, not put in these screws yet, because you need to check whether it's actually going to work. Otherwise, you'll be pulling it all apart again just to try it again. Theoretically, I'm done. Theoretically. Maybe my first time and likelihood of this not being done well, we'll see. That's a good sign. Seeing the actual Apple logo means the screen's connected correctly. So now I can essentially, you just press everything back together. Like that, which is the main thing. And the other thing I need to do is hard reset it, which they say just helps against a lot of issues. We'll see. I may need to just charge for a bit. But it seems so at least put together right. Yeah, and I'm not sure what Apple blinking maybe means the battery's not good, not right. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to test that since I just see the Apple symbol blinking. But I'll stop here, I'll let it sit for a bit, and we'll figure it out. Alrighty, so I was waiting to see about how the charging would go on the new battery, and so I'm just going to claim initial success in that I have it plugged in still so that it can continue to charge. It initially came up, it was doing the flashing Apple symbol. Plugged in by itself, wouldn't do anything, so I plugged it into a computer, let it charge for a bit, and actually it came up on its own just fine. I then, based on the recommendation of the iFixit site and some other notes, went ahead and did a hard reset, holding both down until it fully reset itself. And now, essentially, I'm just going to let it charge until it's 100%, unplug it, and I'll probably try to let it discharge all the way by itself once to just see how well the new battery holds up, if it is just the battery or if it's something else. So initially, I'd say success, but we'll have to see when it's all said and done.